Igor Volsky is the director of Guns Down. He joins us tonight. Igor, thanks a lot for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
So nobody's for crazy people having guns, and I understand the idea behind this, but I think it's worth worrying about civil liberties because no one on the left does anymore, so it's left to us. The idea that you could lose a constitutional right, no one contests that the Second Amendment is real, without due process should bother all of us, right? I mean, couldn't you, if you thought that someone was going to say something inciting violence, could you get an order to ban him from speaking? Would he lose his First Amendment right? I mean, does this bother you at all?
Yeah, I mean, it does in the sense of it really matters how you structure it. So in the way that it's been structured in the 13 states, if you pose an imminent threat, if somebody close to you or the police believe you pose an imminent threat, you go before a judge. You have to meet a certain standard of proof. That judge makes a determination. The judge also sets a court date that is soon on the calendar, and then the person comes in and contests that right. And what we found in states like Connecticut and Indiana, Tucker, where these laws have been challenged, is that they've been found to be constitutional because the processes and the safeguards that have been put in place have really passed that test.
Well, wait, no, what's passed the test is the American judicial system, which has been in place for hundreds of years. It works. I mean, there are, of course, times when it doesn't work and people are wrongly convicted or the guilty go free, but in general, we think the system works. That's why we have it. That's why it's
and that's,
mandated by the Constitution.
That's why
not convict someone before taking his constitutional rights away?
Well, you know, what we've seen oftentimes, especially in cases of mass violence, so for instance, 38 of the last 63 mass shooters expressed some kind of violent behavior before committing a mass shooting, and they had not yet committed a crime before that. So so that question of if they had committed a crime, if they had committed a felony, then yes. But the bar is so low right now, Tucker, federally. The bar is too low, and that's why you're seeing these individuals. Oh,
so it's inconvenient to convict someone before taking his rights away, so why bother? So what would happen? What would happen if a relative said, my daughter is a drug addict, and she is not capable of making the decision to have an abortion. She can't think right. So a judge can swoop in without a trial and say, you're not allowed to have an abortion. We're taking that right away. Would you be okay with that?
Well, hold on. I remember after Parkland in Vermont, police found an individual, an 18-year-old, who had amassed weapons and wanted to commit mass murder in his school. Police used that state's law that they had just passed to take those guns away from him because they clearly determined that he was at risk. So there's a clear situation.
I believe that.
That's where these orders are used, Tucker. No, but that's what I'm saying. That's why they've been effective.
Really, they're used.
That's why they've been effective to prevent murder. Hold on. That's why they've been effective also to prevent suicide. Because these are people at risk.
Yeah, there's no doubt, I'm sure, that it's effective. The question is, do we care? And again, no one on the left, including you, cares about civil liberties anymore.
Tucker, I don't know why
that's why you won't answer my question. I say that because you're making a case against due process. That's why.
I walked you through the structure of these laws that judges have upheld.
But that's not due process. Really? So do you worry? Let me ask you this. And I bet you don't worry about this.
If there are due process
let me ask you a question, Igor.
Bring those challenges,
the
and then the courts will decide.
is challenging. Well, please don't speak over me. The ACLU is challenging that. But let me ask you this. You're not worried at all that this will be, as the ACLU has suggested, disproportionately used against African Americans. You say, I think that person's in a gang. I think he has a gun. He looks dangerous. The judge is like, yeah, that's right. I'm taking it away. You think the justice system is racist. You've said that many times. So you're going to let that system, without due process, take a constitutional right away from people, and you don't think that that's going to be used disproportionately against African Americans? Seriously?
Well, look, we have to make sure that doesn't happen. But what we've seen in the states,
really, how are we going to make sure that doesn't happen?
A state like Connecticut,
how are we going to make sure that doesn't happen?
Since 1999, they haven't found that kind of racial disparity, and that's a good thing.
But how are we going to? But you say the system is racist. How are we going to make sure that doesn't happen?
Well, Tucker, I mean, you don't have an answer.
Tucker, because you don't care. Okay.
Tucker,
okay. Just checking.
What I'm happy about, listen, what I'm happy about is that this is
I'll give you the last word. One sentence.
This is a bipartisan idea. 4 Republican governors support this, and this is something we can get behind.
Some Republicans
this is something we can get behind, both on the left and the right, to really limit gun violence.
I'm not
Bipartisanship here, Tucker.
Right. Thank you. Good to see you.